What's up, everybody? Welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. I'm Drew Bosley, that's Scott Savage, and you can join us at InsideTheGame.ca, our YouTube channel at Inside the Game Official, our Fast channel over on Rad TV, those beautiful TV streaming platforms around the globe like Roku, Amazon Prime, Jinx Esports TV, ESTV, and a whole lot more. But maybe you don't want the video side, you want the audio side. Well then, hit us up over at Fired Up Network. We're across 212 platforms over there. Scott, we got lots to talk about today, my friend. What's on the dock?
That's right. Beginning off, we have Assassin's Creed Modern Day and the future of how those sections are going to work out. Control 2 and Max Payne Remake is being talked about. We'll get Sam Lake's thoughts and Bungie's layoff details. We have a little bit more information on that.
We certainly do, but let's get going. It's Assassin's Creed. Scott, this is something fans been asking for quite some time. Is the Assassin's Creed modern day story going to be the future? Lots of questions around this one. Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. The Assassin's Creed franchise seems to be taking a drastic turn with its modern day story moving forward. The first details on the change for the modern day story first appeared online 2 weeks ago with the YouTuber Silver2 uploading unused audio in an Assassin's Creed Mirage data mine. If the video footage is legitimate, it suggests that the modern day story could be moving to the far future. Two unnamed anonymous operators referred to the 21st century as ancient history, implying that the conversation takes place in the far future. In addition, quote, the Great Shift, end quote, is also mentioned, which seems to take place sometime in the 21st century. While Ubisoft has not commented on the legitimacy of the audio, what makes it more compelling is that the footage is under the quotations of Neo codename, which is Assassin's Creed Hexe, rather than Assassin's Creed Red, which is the next release in line. Speaking with anonymous sources on the audio, Insider Gaming has learned that the quote modern day story will now be set almost certainly in the future. Previous Assassin's Creed games would be set with their respective years of release of its modern day story, with the likes of Assassin's Creed Valhalla being set in the 2020, for example. Although we are unable to verify the legitimacy of the audio footage for Hexe, we've learned that Assassin's Creed Red will have significant portions of its modern day story set in the last decade of the 21st century, being 2090 to 2099. As such, Abstergo Industries will be getting a whole new cast of characters for players to explore, because Sean should be dead by then. As revealed, that's just me adding that in. As revealed,
Sean Hastings, video games most universally hated character.
As revealed by Vice President Executive Producer of Assassin's Creed, Mark Alexis Cote, the story will now be told through Infinity, which is Assassin's Creed Future Game Hub. From Infinity, players will be able to access games like Codename Red and Codename Hexe, as well as going through the modern day story. There are certainly more questions than answers at this stage, but with the modern day story revealing criticism for its confusing time, the story heading into the far future seems like a guaranteed way of giving leeway to the set narrative and direction. Who knows, maybe, quote, the Great Shift, end quote, is referring to Assassin's Creed Red and its 2090 and 2099 modern day setting, which will set up the modern day story nicely for Assassin's Creed Hexe. Oh, Scott, there's a lot to unpack there, man.
Yeah, a huge amount of those modern day sections. First of all, I didn't realize they were supposed to be set to the year of release game. I thought we were already a little bit into the future with that game series already, but I'm incorrect.
Dude, it is definitely confusing. Like, there's no doubt about it. The separation between the two. When you go to Mirage, you don't even have a modern day setting. You just go straight to Basim's side story, right? And that's the whole case right there. Valhalla, though, is the setup. It's funny because Corey and I did a discussion. We had a meeting one day. I said, Corey, stick around, because him and I just talked about the ending of Mirage, because we're a little like, where does this set this up with Valhalla's story? Because it kind of doesn't, in a sense. Like, it does, but it doesn't. It's a little mixed because of spoilers for Valhalla, which is what, 3 years old now at this point, right? So at the end, Basim's out. in the modern day setting. So
Ooh.
when we went into Mirage, we're like, whoa, where is he in the timeline of Valhalla? He's not even in that existence. So we just get his lead up to, but man, like I don't want to get too spoilery, but like that's a big point right there. Just the ending of Valhalla, when then leapt into Mirage, kind of leaves you going, what's going on? But remember back in the day with Assassin's Creed 1, we had Desmond Miles, modern day setting.
Yeah, he was the one who kind of webbed it all together.
Yeah, but then it's vanished, kind of thing.
Do you remember? Was that Revelations where you're doing a lot of the? You're in the Italian little suburban center and running around.
The modern day stuff.
Yeah, there's moments where you have a stun baton and you're fighting dudes in Abstergo. That was really, really weird. But I'm hoping we get a little bit of a game in that setting. I'd be very interested to go through it.
Do we change to the future altogether? Right now, you get Abstergo, you jump into the Animus, and then poof, you go back into some kind of time period, whether it's Vikings, whether it's Baghdad, whether it's whatever we're into, right? Rome, ancient Rome, dude, Brotherhood was incredible. But there's like so many different time periods that they always jump back to. And I always enjoyed that twist. But I know a lot of fans too have been going, when can we get the modern day Assassin's Creed? When can we get this futuristic parkouring, skyscrapers, all that kind of stuff? We had a touch of that. I remember jumping around skyscrapers with Desmond back in the day, right? And then all that just kind of went away. And then we just saw this ancient London period, and then Egypt, and then, you know what I mean? They just, nothing, very, very little. Even in Valhalla, you get a little snippet of modern day, what we'll classify as modern day, and then it's just all Viking. Which, dude, I didn't mind. Like, that's okay. Like, I'm good with that. But then it's just kind of, where's the fine line? Where's the balance that Ubisoft is trying to hit for? And if Hexe comes around for a modern day setting altogether, where's that put us at? Like, man, very curious to see where Red is going to lead us now. Now that I'm done Mirage, I still have to go back to 100% it. I'm just, man, there's a lot of exploring to do, and I just don't have the time.
Oh, there's a lot of people really don't like those kind of modern sections. I've seen a lot of complaints online about people really, it grinds down the experience to a halt. I'm wondering, maybe this far future moment is actually a gameplay section. Maybe the Animus starts reading into the future, can predict the future that way, and you start looking into the forward to possess some characters. But that's just a crazy idea mulling in my head. I really wonder where this is going to go for Assassin's Creed, because we're running out of ancient eras to return to.
Well, I wonder if Hexe is a setup for that future where we get into a whole new cast of characters. Right now, we're getting away from Sean. Sean's going to be gone, right? There's no way he can still be stuck around unless he's got some cryo sleep kind of insomnia thing going on, and then poof, he's back. I don't know, like, you know what I mean?
They put him, he's an AI in your
oh
head.
Man, hey, yeah, I wouldn't put it past them, right, at this point. But it's at the same time, how do they set the future up for Assassin's Creed? We do know they have a long line of games planned for Assassin's Creed as it is. Where does that pull us in? We got up next, like coming in this month. Now it's November already, dude. It's November. This is nuts. But coming later this month is the VR experience, Nexus. And from talking with Olivier, the game director, about the game, he talked about how we are in the Animus once again. So there is a modern day touch, brings us into the Animus, that we go relive Connor, Ezio, and Cassandra's past and go through that experience that way. So they do keep bringing these little touches in, but they're very small sometimes. And I wonder what that really means for the future, if anything at all. Are they going to continue to look like where we go for going back to the past? How much further can they dig? Granted, if you talk to a historian like Raphael, like, he'll tell you there's lots to do. Like,
that's true. There's, what do we have? About 4,000 years of human history you could go and explore.
So, yeah, there's lots, but we'll definitely keep our ears to the ground. Assassin's Creed is always something close and near dear to my heart. So, Red is next. Well, technically, Nexus is next. Then it's Red, and then it's Hexe. But does Hexe bring us to the future? Or are we still traveling back in past?
Drew, we have some very exciting news for myself. Remedy provides updates on Control 2 and Max Payne Remake. Control number 1 was an extremely favorite game of mine, just if anybody does not know. Jordan Midler at VGC tells us, in a note to investors, the Finland-based developer provided new information on 4 new titles that it is currently working on. Quote, Control 2 continues in the proof of concept stage. The plans for this sequel are ambitious, and we have seen good progress, both in designs and in the game build. End quote. It said of the sequel to the 2019 third-person shooter, quote, "We will continue at this stage for the next few quarters." Ooh, there's a little bit of a window. We focus on... yeah, that's what that means. Ouch. Yep. We focus on providing the identified key elements before moving to the next stage and scaling up the team. End quote. Scaling up is another good sign here. Mm-hmm. On its upcoming remake of Max Payne 1 and 2, the company wrote, quote, "Max Payne 1 and 2 remake progressed into the production readiness stage. We have gained clarity on the style and scope of the game, and we have an exceptionally well-organized team working on it. With these accomplishments, we are excited about the project and its future success." Quote ends. The game is the game is a co-production with Rockstar Games, owners of the Max Payne IP and developers of the third game in the series. It's a match made in heaven, if you ask me. Remedy has provided insight into Condor and Codename Vanguard, two titles that the company has spent very little time speaking about publicly. Quote, "Condor, a cooperative multiplayer game, has progressed from the proof of concept to the production readiness stage. We have acquired valuable insights into developing service-based games and are now in a better position to create a game players can engage with for years." End quote. That does have me concerned. However, we are talking about two companies that are great if they do continue to partner with Rockstar. However, while it didn't work directly on the service-based portion of the game, Remedy's closest call with a service game in recent years was the ill-fated Crossfire X. I'd forgotten they were attached, to which it contributed the single-player portion. The game shut down earlier this year, although the single-player modes are still playable as part of Crossfire HD. I believe Corey and I ripped through that.
Yeah.
It was very short. There is a review, if anybody is curious. Crossfire X was a flash in the pan. Continuing, quote, "In Codename Vanguard, we are defining the next stages of the project with our publishing partner." End quote. Remedy said in its latest note, quote, "At the same time, the project is aiming towards completing a proof of concept stage by the end of the year." End quote. Little is known about Vanguard beyond its title. Remedy is currently hiring for the project. In a recent interview with VGC, we asked Remedy creative director Sam Lake about the remakes and how Remedy's initial announcement suggested it was going to be a significant undertaking. Lake replied that the project is indeed a large one, with a lot of work involved. Quote, "It is a significant undertaking in the sense that even if they are old games, just thinking about bringing them up to modern standards and combining them into one, you can see that it's a big, big project," he explained. Upon being asked if he would be reprising his role as Max from the first game, Lake laughed, quote, "No comment," he replied, quote, "That's going too far." To which I disagree. Sam Lake is Max Payne. I could recognize that guy in Antarctica.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He definitely has a distinctive a look and appeal to him, right? That is Max Payne. Dude, I remember playing Max Payne
the eyebrow?
Bullet Time. Yeah, I can do that. It's man, oh man, this is cool. I didn't play Control 1. Exciting to see Control 2 is still going strong, but it's going to be a while yet, right? They're still basically wrapping up concept stage and getting ready for production. So that's just, dude, everything here is, yeah, we're still working on it.
Absolutely. But if anybody who's played Control or these kind of games, you can imagine how tough and difficult some of the puzzles are. Just imagine trying to make those. You have to have a whole bigger understanding of the game and how it fits into the greater game. And I am so excited for Control 2.
Which is great. I'm excited for Max Payne 1 and 2 to come back. Like, those stories they hit hard back then. And to bring those to modern day standards now for controls and everything else, like, I can't wait to see how well this thing's crafted and how well it looks. Just think of, dude, back in the day, we were blown away by the graphics, which is now by today's standards, like, way outdated. But the gunplay and the gameplay alone was so strong. to bring that to today's standards, they still have that touch and that feel of Max Payne. Man, I wonder if Remedy ever regrets giving the Max Payne IP over to Rockstar.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah,
Right? That's just
it's
like
been dormant for so long, but it was a good safe bank to put it in.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it's great that they're working with Rockstar to get the remake to us for 1 and 2, but I don't expect any of these titles anytime soon. Like, I think we're now, so Alan Wake 2 just dropped, obviously. We're now 4 years from anything else coming out of Remedy, probably in the next while, right? So, I don't know.
I would expect so.
Yeah. We're going to be waiting in quite some time still, that's for sure, Scott. Scott, more on the world of Bungie as Bungie layoffs reportedly amount to around 100 of their staff. Chris Scullion over at VGC. Bungie recent layoffs amount to around 100 staff, or roughly 8% of the developer's workforce, according to a new report. It was confirmed on Monday that Bungie was the latest Sony Interactive Entertainment studio to be hit with layoffs through the scope of job cuts, though it wasn't clear yet. A new report by Bloomberg sheds more light on the situation, saying staff were warned in a meeting earlier this month that revenue was running at around 45% below that was being projected, which Chief Executive Officer Pete Parsons reportedly attributed to poor player retention for Destiny 2. Dude, is he getting too long in the tooth?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, it has been a while. Time for Destiny 3.
Well, that's what I'm kind of wondering. But it's claimed that staff were told that the game's next expansion, the Final Shape, was being delayed from February 2024 to June to give staff more time to improve it. Parsons is also said to have told staff that salary and hiring freezes would be taking place. But 2 weeks later, on Monday, around 100 staff were then told they were being laid off. Forbes writer Paul Tassi tweeted more information that he had received from sources, including claims that many employee benefits lasted until the end of the month, meaning that because staff were laid off on October 30th, their benefits only lasted a single day. Dude, that is dirty. That is not cool. You have 1 day if you have prescriptions and everything to get caught up with. What a scramble. What a mismanaged way to do things, right? This is corroborated by Bloomberg's report, which also noted that healthcare was a separate benefit and will still be available for the next 3 months to those who got let go. So there's certain stipulations, right? We obviously don't know the ins and outs of Bungie's employment records and all their standards and stuff like that. So it's still a touchy subject. One potentially contentious issue is that employee shares, the majority of which are owned by Bungie employees before Sony's acquisition. Last year, Sony revealed that around 1.2 billion of its 3.6 billion acquisition of Bungie was to be spent on employee retention and would be used to reward existing employees if they didn't leave and stayed with Bungie for a certain number of years. Since one of the main reasons for Sony's acquisition was to make use of Bungie's knowledge base, it planned to, quote, to incentivize the shareholders and other creative talent to continue working at Bungie after the acquisition closes, end quote. Eligible employees had unvested shares, which are shares that are put aside for them and can't be accessed until they meet a certain requirement. In this case, staying with Bungie for a certain number of years. However, according to Tassi's sources, quote, those shares revert to Bungie if you leave, even if you're fired, which is what's happening now in many of those affected, end quote. Basically, everybody who got laid off doesn't get any of that, Scott. All those shares go back into Bungie.
Yeah, all those conditions haven't been met because you haven't been there for years, which of course would have been a lot of these people's decision, I believe. But then you just learn that you're cut.
That's no fault of theirs.
Halloween, that's
right.
No,
that's no fault of theirs, and you're gonna take their shares away now too. Man, I am baffled this year, like completely baffled by how our industry has gone this year. We have some of the best games around we've ever had. The dollars are up. People are making a ton of money. Activision gets bought for $69 billion. Like, dude, there's money being spent. but yet developers left, right, and center are getting cut. What is going on?
There's been times before. I think it was Satoru Iwata from Nintendo who famously halved his yearly income to kind of keep the company going strong, to keep the employee morale up. Yeah, retention at its most basic form. Yeah, and it was just, that was a thing he didn't have to do, but it was the right thing to do at the time, and it did make everything work better. Now, that's not going to solve every problem here. We've seen thousands of people laid off now, but it seems awful if part of this fund was just not used in its intended manner. And it seems sad to see 100 people.
Yeah, man, 100 people, 45% below their projected revenue is where they're at now over at Bungie. Scott, what's that mean for Destiny, right? Are people not getting... There could be one of two things, right? A, they're getting bored of Bungie's Destiny game, right? Destiny 2 has been around forever. But maybe they're not getting enough content fed to them on a regular basis. We talk about games of service being tough. It is a regular thing where people are diving in. They want to have something new, something fresh to play each week, each day. How do you keep that model going? You have to have employees to create that content. But yet revenue goes down 45% of where they're projected to be. They can't keep the lights on by doing this, right? Like, there's got to be an ebb and flow and some give and go. But at the same time, man, you're playing with people's lives. And 100 people here are now getting let go, and it is tough. We've had a brutal year, and it just sucks to see how we're enjoying as gamers some of the best games we've ever had, probably one of the best years we've ever had, and it continues to just lay people off. And I'm just so tired of it. So tired of it. I'm hoping we can have a better year next year for our developers, because I don't like to see anybody let go. This is tough, and hopefully, here's the problem. They're let go. Embracer Group lets Volition close after 30 years, right? Gearbox lets go. So-and-so lets go. All these people, 6,000 people this year so far, right? We're not done. Guarantee you there's more layoffs coming. 6,000 people is where we're hovering, are now all looking to stick around in the industry. Where do you go?
Yeah,
right? People are laying off. Nobody's hiring.
Well, no, we're going to see a lot more other companies pop up, but then how do you compete with these ginormous AAA budgets? It's just impossible. There's a sustainability crisis, that's for sure.
Absolutely. It's been a brutal year. Scott, for a Wednesday, we got a couple games out today. What are they?
That's right. We have Alpha Particle on PlayStation 4 or 5, Xbox One, X, and the Switch. Song of Nunu, a League of Legends story, is on PC, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and Nintendo Switch. Alien Hominid HD is on PC, Switch, and Xbox One Series X as well. Alien Hominid Invasion is on PC, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One and X. Ninja or Die, Shadow of the Sun is now available on the Switch. And This Bed We Made on PC and PlayStation 5 today.
There we go. And that'll wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'm Drew. That's Scott.
And we'll see you inside the game.